So, yeah, we're starting this meditation. My biology is like, ooh, it's like getting here late and things like this, things out of my control, but still feeling like the repercussions. It's my fault. I feel guilty, right? These things can come up, but what we're gonna do when we sit is to realize that none of it matters, and it's okay. And there's something that's unaffected, and when we create that peopling where we have expectations of how others are perceiving things, it's not real. It's based on judgments, and you all don't care. You understand. And so, like, my consciousness knows that. And so, even though there could be like those energies, I drove very efficiently to get here as soon as I possibly could, but it wasn't riddled with worry. It was just do right by your people the best you can, and then it clears. It can clear very fast. It doesn't linger in the consciousness when that self um, referential narrative doesn't take place. It just washes away. But there's still that adrenaline, trying to rush to get here, whatnot. We can really take our practice beyond our mat in this recognition that there's a part of us that's not being impacted, not being affected. We discover it during our sitting practice, but really we want to bring it into all of our life. The part of us that's unaffected is that awareness. When we sit still, we're looking for the part of us that is unaffected. It makes the parts, the body, the mind, personality, it functions way better. It doesn't get all clogged up and bottlenecked in the internal narrative. And so we look for the thing that is unaffected. There's always a part of us that's unaffected. Welcome, Chris. Um, so as our group makes it here, now that I'm here, after driving I'm not going to say like a madman, I'm going to say like a well trained Formula One racer. Like that was just necessary. I wanted to make sure that those kiddos their parents were going to show up and get them, be there for that. Not let those kids feel worried that their parents weren't there, and gotta stay there for that. It's like easy. The mind is not clouded. There's no indecision. There's no worry because it's like very clear what it's supposed to do. And then once they're all taken care of, do my best to let you all know, and then get here as fast as I can to be right by my commitment to meditation group. And so it's this aspect of what is unaffected. It stays very quiet. It's never loud. It's never confused. It's never uncertain. It's never distracted. It does appear covered up sometimes. What covers it up? That internal narrative. If I was worried, then maybe it's hard to see it. And it's okay for the biology to need to take action, to do the responsibility, to even act quickly, to drive like a Formula One driver through traffic, save a couple minutes. But it didn't feel any different to me than what we're doing right now. Because what's unaffected is still unaffected. So we're taking this time now to grow more in tune, more in touch. We might at first just call it an aspect of ourself that is unaffected. But in time, as we study it, we realize it is ourself. We are the unaffected. I was writing an email to the admin telling them that they got the timer. I was like, wait a minute, this isn't important right now. I need to write a text to you all that I knew were going to be here, that I'm going to be late. That's discernment happening. It's not indecision. Write that email tomorrow. You know, sometimes when you have a life where there's just so much going on, it's hard to discern. And so we take just this concentrated time to weed through that thick internal narrative. And as we have communion or recognition with what is unaffected, boy, the brain likes it. Consciousness likes it. It's a good feeling. And so we just start to find our way back to it over and over. And that thick narrative, because maybe we have too much going on, just starts to get thinner and thinner till it barely even feels there at all. As we continue to settle into our practice, set the bar very high. You look for what is unaffected. You look for what does not change. Whatever you were just looking at, it may have your interest for one reason or another. It's an interesting thought for some reason, but it's not because it's unaffected. When you meditate, you are developing resilience. resilience for what you find interesting. It's okay to have your interests. It's okay to have your attention drawn to something. But when it distracts you from yourself, it is not in service. Having interests, joys, they actually bring you to yourself. But thinking that they will provide the peace and happiness takes you away from the self. When they turn into thoughts, goals, dreams, ambitions, fears, instead, look for you. Look for the I that is unchanging, unaffected by whether you succeed or fail, gain or lose. Look for the I that you really are. Look for what does not change, the you that is constant, the you that is steady through all circumstances. When the plans go awry, and spontaneity takes over, when things go according to plan, there is this presence that is always. You have to go deeper than the physical sensation, deeper than feelings, deeper than thoughts, deeper than personality, character, deeper than beliefs and values. All of these things come and go with time. What you are does not. What you are is unaffected, changeless. Know it, perceive it. You can find your gains and loss, success and failure in life very interesting, very compelling, but it should be obvious. Lasting peace does not exist there. Lasting peace does exist in knowing what you are. Unaffected. You have no opinion on the matter. You have no confusion on the subject, no uncertainty. No curiosity, just silent and present, watching as things come and go, arise and fade. Be be willing to let whatever has arisen fade. You are what's left, undisturbed, unaffected. Be not confused as your mind occupies itself with interests in the world, turned into thought, turned into feeling, turned into sensation. You can be there for them. Just don't confuse yourself for them. Be yourself and observe. Observe all that enters consciousness. Do not confuse yourself for what enters. You are not the body's sensations. You are not the emotions you feel. You are not the thoughts. Observe that you observe. The observer is unaffected. The body mind tends to the body mind. Leave it to its tending. You're only getting in the way. Be unaffected. Be free and at peace, dwelling as the real you. You just shed the false concepts, your interests, your identifiers. Just let them be out there. Let them take their shape. Let the body mind run its course. A delightful play. Don't take the play seriously. Be yourself, unaffected. Remain as you are as you start to relax the body from its posture. Start to relax from the practice. You can feel it. What you are is still there, just as it is. No going anywhere, no arriving. The awareness remains unaffected all the time.